What is up, everybody? Jester here, and today we finally get to finish up finding your forever freighter. In a way, I'm kind of glad that we had to do 3 parts because there was a lot of stuff that could have got left on the cutting room floor, and this gives me the ability to kind of give you a little more information, including some base building parts. That being said, grab your popcorn and settle in. It's time to finish this son of a gun. When last we met, we were having a bit of a problem with the living frigates, and we're going to get into that here in just a little bit. But first off, you're going to want to start with some regular frigates. These are super easy to find. They're in pretty much every system, and they just cost a little bit of money. You just go up, you hit the fleet communicator, and if you see the green icon, they're available for purchase to get into your fleet. There's 5 main types when it comes to frigates. There's combat, trade, exploration, industrial, and support. And each one of these is going to look pretty much the same. So like each one of these trade ones is going to look like that. And you can see when you're looking at these, the different stats that they have. Now, a lot of people will chase S-Class on this, but the thing about frigates is it's one of the most unique items in the game, and that is it levels up as you use it. So it will go from C to B to A to S in 55 missions if you start from the very bottom. So again, very unique when it comes to No Man's Sky. So for me, I find that the stats, even when you get up higher, they don't really matter. So I like to start low and keep my costs down, but it's up to you. As soon as you have enough frigates in your fleet, you can start sending them out for missions. I mean, you could do it with one, but I like to go ahead and get a few of them. And when they come back from these missions, they're going to give you different things, units and different items. But the thing you're looking for, especially early on with your fleet, is going to be the Dream Aerial. And you're going to see that corruption log there, and that's how you go about getting it. And there is a bit of a problem with that, and we're getting ready to cover it. And don't worry, I'm also going to cover how to get those things sent out and the best possible way to do it. But I kind of want to touch on this just a little bit because living frigates are a bit broken right now. Instead of going out and showing you this first encounter, I think it's better to give you the information about the wiki, because the wiki's got information that I can't just explain like this. I can't explain that the recipe for the Dream Aerial is 3 living glass and 1 solar mirror, but the very first encounter is going to have a series of questions that influence the stats that you get for that particular frigate. And remember, that one is free. So if you want to take the time and go to the wiki and answer based on what you want, this is where you want to go. And I would never have been able to cover that in a short amount of time. But what the wiki also told me was this was designed to be a one-time use thing. And that's not something the game tells you, and it creates some other problems that I'm going to show you here in just a second. But definitely go here. It's a good reference. If you guys don't use the wiki for stuff, I mean, by all means, continue to watch the videos. But it's a pretty good resource if you have questions when it comes to No Man's Sky. Now, keep in mind there are requirements to get this to spawn. You have to have completed the Artemis quest line as well as the Living Ship quest line, and then you're going to be able to do this. But no matter what I did, I could not get the actual whale song to spawn. It was always just a living ship, and I didn't even have an egg in my inventory. I was absolutely my wit's end with this. I pulsed around for over an hour trying to get this to spawn, and it just didn't happen. Went all over the internet to find an explanation, and all I got on Reddit was some guy that wanted to correct my grammar, which, whatever, good luck to ya. It wasn't until my new friend Raging Furball 5419 hit the comments, it showed me the workaround, and it does kind of make a little sense. The first step you're going to need to do is go to space and start shooting asteroids so you can grab an anomaly detector. Now, I knew that this was necessary, and I started using the anomaly detector with the actual Dream Aerial, and I still couldn't get anything to spawn. And this was just extremely weird. And you know, by the way, it makes perfect sense that you have to go shoot asteroids for 5 minutes to get one of these. You're going to need multiples if you want to get multiple living frigates, so just keep that in mind. The problem is solved if you realize you have a void egg in any inventory. And it doesn't matter what inventory, trust me. These were in freighter storage. It didn't matter. Just because I had them, it would not kick any other mission except for the Starbirth mission. And for the life of me, I couldn't figure that out. So basically what this comes down to is put an egg in your inventory, because you're going to be able to get this back eventually if you'd like to, and go ahead and activate the Starbirth mission. As long as this mission is active, you can't get a second one active. It's weird, and it's got to be something to do with the framework of how things are recognized in the coding. So like the word living appears, so it only will do this. But once you have that mission active, activate another anomaly detector and just start pulsing. And immediately, within the first 20-30 seconds, I started getting different things pop up. So I knew we were on the right track here. And just remember, this can take up to 20 minutes or 40 encounters. Each one of these encounters is about 30 seconds. So don't get discouraged and don't stop for anything except for a whale song. And I'm going to show you that now. And so long as you're patient enough, eventually the whale song will spawn. And it's very easy to see. It's its own specific icon, and it even comes up on your screen that says whale song detected. Do not stop until you see that. From there, here you go. He spawns in. Now just remember, you're not going to be able to even interact with these things, even if they do spawn, if you're at a full fleet of 30. Because 30 is the maximum frigates you can have, no matter what the freighter tells you in the beginning. You can only have 30. But so long as you have the space, you can then go and interact with it just like a regular frigate. You're going to be able to go in, you inspect the creature, it'll show you the different stats. In this case, it's a combat one, and it's a B class. So for 16,430,000 units, I can buy this thing and make it part of my own and send it out on missions. And again, it will upgrade over time. So don't worry necessarily about getting those S-Class straight away. And again, I just want to reiterate this because this is super important to keep you from getting frustrated. Go to your log, make sure that Starbirth mission is active. Now, when this is all said and done, you can go and do that, refuse the ship, you get your egg right back. So it's not that big a deal, but this has to be active if you have eggs. With that hot mess finally sorted, and again, thank you to Raging Furball 5419. Guys, go find that comment on the last video and give it a like and let them know you appreciate it, because without that, it wouldn't have gotten done. Just saying. But all that being done, it's finally time to start sending out our fleets en masse. Let me show you the differences when you have upgrades versus when you don't. For the purposes of this video, I went ahead and stored all technology just to show you that the timing of this is going to be a bit different. It's going to be a little bit better because we have an S-Class freighter. But when you go in, you talk to your navigator, who's the person that's got all your different missions for each day, you'll see that it's a pretty lengthy deal. Now with the S-Class, we're only running into an 18-hour mission, which isn't really that bad considering that we don't have any upgrades at all. I know on C-Class, B-Class, this can be even longer. I think on C-Class, it can be upwards of 26 hours. So definitely long missions to get sent out. And at 26 hours, you're kind of behind the sticks when it comes to being able to do this once a day. It's going to take about 55 days to get one frigate out and upgraded fully from C-Class to S if you do 55 missions. And as you can see here, I went ahead and moved everything around. In the last video, we had over 5,000 hyperdrive. I'm not worried about that. And I think 67.5 fleet coordination is a pretty good sized number from what I've seen for a system freighter. So I'm really happy with that. But to get these missions out, go back into where you talk to the navigator, and all you got to do is click on each one. But notice the timing, completely different. We dropped 12 hours on that first expedition because of our upgrades. And some of those, well, all 4 of them are now supercharged. So definitely, it's something to keep in mind when you're doing this. It depends on what your priority is. Do you want quicker missions? Do you want more hyperdrive range? It's completely up to you. There is no wrong answer to this. From there, we're going to select a combat mission, and I'm going to send out 3 regular combat frigates, an organic combat frigate, and then 1 support vessel. And I'm going to try to balance this out, because the idea here is to have more stars on your fleet than what the actual mission calls for. So when it's a 2-star mission, as long as you're at 3 stars, you shouldn't have too many issues completing it. In this case, we're going to end up with 5, which I seem to find all the time because of our coordination and stuff. So I don't really have too many problems, and you're not going to run into any missions that are above 3. At least I haven't seen any more than 3 difficulty rating. If you guys have, leave me a comment, and I'd love to see a screenshot of that. But it seems like difficulty 3 is about as high as it goes. But as long as you're over that number, you should be fine. Another thing that you can do, as long as you have them unlocked using the salvage frigate modules, is you can do temporary upgrades for each of these missions. Now, a good example here is these explosive drones. Those are for combat, but you also have other deals that would enhance your trade or your exploration or your mining. And these take different things to craft. And especially if you've got a lower level fleet and you kind of need the perk, you can use these. But just remember, they're one-time use. You have to craft 1 for each one that you send out, up to 3 per expedition. Another point of note here is that you have to have a fleet command room for each mission you send out. So 5 should work. That way you can do 5 each day. But if you only have 1, you can only send out 1 mission. And when they come back, you're going to see that you start to get some different things. A lot of this is going to be units, but you do get some other things like the Viking effigies, and we got some superconductors and copper there. So it's definitely worth it, especially with the money, to get these things out and going. With our frigates finally going out and making us some money, and we're getting some items, there's one more thing that I've got to talk about, and that's the very, very, very unique thing you can do with living frigates. What if I told you that when you found your living frigate, that the stats didn't matter because you can change them? It's the only thing in the game I can think of where you can do it. Let me show you. On your command deck, if you go in and inspect your fleet and you find yourself one of your organic frigates, this is such a weird thing, but it does work. You can actually feed this vessel. And if you put in different things and feed the vessel, it's going to change the stats. And I'm not going to pretend that I know what food's going to be best. Everything I can find online, it seems really random. So you're just going to have to find something that gives you the best possible stat you can find. I wish I could give you more information on it, but it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of that out there regardless. But as you can see here, leopard fruit gave us 23 exploration, which this was a combat vessel to start with. So again, all you gotta do is find 5 of these or 10 of these or whatever, and you can change the stats to whatever you want based on how you feed it. With any of the expeditions you send out, if the leader of the expedition is a living frigate or it's a majority of living frigates, you're giving yourself a better opportunity to get these interactions that are the corruptions. And here you can see we get a psionic egg. This is definitely something where you're going to get different things just by using these living frigates. So, you know, experiment with these as you will, and let me know in the comments the results that you get. And if you're curious what this psionic egg does, just like I was, go into your inventory and start the biogenesis. From there, hover back over it and evolve. And what this is, it becomes an upgrade for your living ship. Now, this is different from what I remember because I haven't messed with living ships in forever. But in the next video, I'm going to mess with a lot more about ships. So definitely subscribe and hit the bell so you see that one coming. These don't seem to have a class, and they seem to be static as far as the stats go. So we're going to see what we can do with one of these coming up very, very soon. Phew, man, are you guys getting tired of freighters yet? Because I know I am. But there's still just a little bit more to cover because it's not just about the fleet or anything else. There's also the freighter can be a base. It can be a mobile base. And there are base parts to unlock. And I want to focus on a couple of these here because they haven't always been around. Let me show you. The first one I want to mention is the Stellar Extractor. Now, my freighter came with one of these, but you can build them and put them in. And this is free resources, absolute free resources. This one gives me chromatic metal, sulfurine, radon, nitrogen. It kind of just depends on whatever system you're in as to what you're going to get. And it goes automatically. You don't have to put anything in there to charge it. It's just a nice way to get a few resources for free here and there. Next is going to be the scanner room. Now, I don't remember this being in here. And basically, it's the same thing as your discoveries tab in your inventory. But, you know, if you can put it on your freighter, why not? And what this is going to allow you to do is upload all your different information. And it's going to allow you to also upload everything and get nanites. You can also change the names of everything in here. So it's just kind of a cool thing to have around. You only need one of these in your freighter, but definitely something you can put in. And it makes doing this a little bit easier because a lot of times I forget that I have this available to me. And you can get quite a few nanites. I think for all the information I had ready here, it was like 6,000 nanites. So definitely something good to do. Next up, I want to mention that all of the terminals that you can put in your bases are also available here, although they're on different tabs now when you go to the freighter building menu. But here you see the weapons terminal. If you wanted to get missions and stuff from him, you absolutely could do so right from here. But the one thing that I really want to focus on here, because this has always been one of my highlighted items that I love having on the freighter, and this has changed drastically. You can no longer put planters on your freighter. You have to do these double cultivation rooms. It still gives you 4 plants, but it takes up so much more space. And I'm not sure why they made this choice. It looks nice. Like, I can't say that it's ugly or anything. But to do anything in any bulk here now is going to be kind of ridiculous if you ask me. With only 4, you'd have to do like 10 to get 40 plants. That's just a lot of space. So with all of this finally being covered, you can see the value of doing this part of the quest line stuff for your freighter. Yes, it's a big grind to get all the upgrades and to get everything opened up cargo-wise, But in the end, when you send out your frigates, you're going to end up getting stuff you don't get every day, whether it be living shipping modules or some different rare items that you can sell. Mostly this is a moneymaker, but again, there are some different items that you're going to grab. And I do want to send that special shout out one more time to Raging Furball 5419. Without your comment, this video doesn't get made. And it just goes to show you guys the importance of commenting on these videos. I don't know everything, and I rely on you to help me out sometimes, and this was a massive, massive help. And speaking of that, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and open up the Discord. Link for that is at the top of my homepage. If you guys want to join the community, we call it the Kingdom, absolutely come on over. It's going to open up the possibility of multiplay, as well as a nice place where we can gather for, you know, question and answers and different games you guys are interested in. The comment section tells me that we've got a pretty good community going here. We're almost 600 strong. My goal is to get to 1,000 by the end of the year. So tell your friends, tell your family, subscribe to the channel, because I'd really love to hit 1,000 by the end of December. All that being said, I hope you guys appreciate the videos. We got a banger coming up on the next one that I've never seen anybody do. So we'll see if you guys enjoy that. And if you know, you're subscribed, make sure to hit the bell so you'll know when that comes out. But until next time, thanks again. We'll see you very soon. Bye.